So, welcome to live session. This is National University, and this is Management 608 Info and Supply Chain Systems, and it is February 12th. All right. Tonight we will go through the week 2 assignment. And I want to start to take a look at the week 3 assignment because that's part of your final assignment as well. And it can be a little confusing just the way that those assignments work together. They actually did a change recently to the week 3 assignment. And I found walking through that with the class early definitely helps with the questions and the time later because the week 4 project does take a little bit. Before we head off that direction, any questions or comments that you have coming into tonight?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I know I sent you a couple emails. I was trying to get done with this week's like major assignment, and having foresight is like so 2020 because as I think about what I submitted, I'm like, yeah, I probably did that all wrong. So I don't. This was not a class that I agreed to sign up to. It was just kind of part of a programming plan that somebody put together for me. So I might be struggling through this class.
Yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to look at emails today. It was hit the ground running at work. But if you did email me today, then I definitely will respond back ASAP. Is there something that Dana that you wanted to bring up, discuss, or just something you'd like for me to respond back in email?
I mean, you can respond to emails. I sent a couple once I started realizing what I had done wrong. I think with the dashboard, I don't think I realized that the dashboard needed to include like charts and stuff, like the graphs. All I had done was just the charting of the numbers, and I don't know if that was actually enough for the assignment or not.
For the actual first assignment or the exercises?
The actual assignment, so like the last one that you had to
Yeah.
do, the paragraph for each.
Yeah. So on that first assignment, it what it calls out for is the 6 separate like mini analyses you have to do within that case study. And if you, so I think it calls for a chart, like a grid or something. If I remember off the top of my head, it's okay if you do like a graph or something. As long as you write a paragraph for each of the 6 mini analyses and put in some sort of chart, graph, something in addition to the paragraph. So
Okay, I think I will be okay in some
yeah,
regard. I appreciate that.
I think I covered that. Any other questions or comments before we jump in?
I have a question. So I went ahead and I started doing some of the assignments today. And for learning activity 4, I'm just having trouble with my the radar chart. I can't seem to figure out, it says like all variables must use scale. You can't mix the dollars and percentages. And I tried looking it up. I looked at our the module 2 notes. I couldn't figure out if that's what that meant, like the little PowerPoint, but it didn't seem like it. And then I tried looking it up like for like Google to see like how to use the chart. I understand where like to find it on Excel. I'm just having a hard time knowing how to convert the metrics on my table. And I know you put like the hint and then to consider using the objective to each metric, and I'm just, I guess, not getting it. Like I said, you gave a hint. I'm just not understanding that. And I've spent way too much time on it that I just rather ask. The graph that I'm getting is a singular line, and I'm pretty sure that that is not what the goal of this assignment was. Yeah, it's because then I'll like convert it to general, and I didn't know if I had to like round it, and the numbers don't seem bright, and I just don't understand. And it's asking for just April, correct? Because it says using all metrics during the most recent period.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for, let's see here, the radar graph, let me share my screen.
Yes,
So
that
that's
one.
yeah, that's the assignment. And
Yes.
then when you take a look at so when you take a look at the solution, it is using April, the April data, and then it's putting everything into a percent. And that's where it needs to be that common denominator of the type of number. And for this one, it is the percent. So what you have to do ultimately is convert and that's the hint, is converting the last month of April into a percent. And then once you of the total objective, right? So when you go back to the here's the objective, and then you're going to put in your new row right here, and that's going to be your April, the percent. And if we go back right here, so you put in your new here, and it says April percent, and so
Yes.
ultimately the exercise is converting the April number to the objective, and that gives it the percent. And if you look at it, just it's more than the 920,000, so it's going to be over 100%. So just as a kind of a litmus test, so you go, yeah, it's 101%. I'm in the right ballpark. And really, it's just doing the simple, dividing to get the percent for each one.
Oh, so you're literally just dividing the bottom by the top?
Should be dividing the top
Top by
by
the
the
bottom.
bottom. Yeah, because the bottom is the objective, and you want to see where you're at in relative to that projective. So that's where you take your performance, which is the April data. That's your performance, and then divide it by your objective, and that gives you where you are in relative to that objective. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, this
Yeah.
just like I said, for some things I knew it had to have been simple. It took me way too long today. Okay,
That's okay. And then so on the outside here, you'll see the headers here. So these are your headers as you see around here, and then your percents right here. So they're going to be these two right here that you'll use, and then just create your graph. Put your graph.
Okay. And then I know where to get the rest. I just couldn't
Yeah.
figure out what the metric was. So
Yeah,
thank
no
you.
problem.
I didn't guess percentage.
All right. Okay. Any other questions before we dive into the upcoming homework?
Hi, Professor. Yeah, just a quick question. The Excel certification just really kicked my butt. I wasn't expecting it to be really, really long, just because it kept going back and trying to like make sure I did really well in the quizzes, but understanding, which is funny enough because I went in it thinking I knew enough Excel, and then it just really like humbled you down really quick. So I was just kind of curious if there's any other things within the course that will need a lot of time and attention, like the Excel certification we did on LinkedIn for planning purposes.
Yeah, that is a great question. In that LinkedIn it's really good, but
Yeah.
it is time consuming, just if you just kind of do the bare minimum, I think it's almost what, a couple hours or 3 or something. And then if you take extra time to work through stuff and maybe go back and look at stuff, it's like a whole day. So um your final project is going to be very time consuming. I would, now that all the teams are in place, if you haven't, start tomorrow, jump to week 4 and take a look at the final project. And what we're going to go through for your week 2 submittal for your project work is the team charter. And that's where and I'll go through that in a minute. But maybe when you get together to do that, take a look at week 4 already, and at least look at it. If you have any questions, you can bubble them up, start to figure out who's going to do what now. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Because, like we talked last week, it's like you blink and 4 weeks is done, and, we're already done with week 1. So, okay. Well, let's see here. No, it's one of these tabs. Here we go. Okay. So what's due as far as the project? It's the team project check-in, or you could call it a charter. And it's I should I'll have to remember rename that for next class. Anyway, so that's your assignment, and basically just scrolling down and hitting the team agreement template is ultimately the document that you'll all work on together / individually. And I know that sounds, how do you do together individually? Well, this is your team agreement, and it's pretty straightforward. It's nothing, tricky or special, per se. It's just really getting logistics down on how you're going to operate as a team. And this is going to be really, it will come in. I know it seems like a kind of an easy, fluffy exercise. However, you will need this as you go to, especially do your week 4 assignments. And I presume you've all been in teams of some sort before, and having, effective communication and roles and responsibilities and know who's doing what. You need to have that nailed down. So this is what ultimately you'll do as part of your submittal for Sunday, team agreement. You'll put it together as a team, but then you'll submit it individually. So this one is an individual submittal, not one team submittal. The descriptive title of our paper will be, just basically putting the assignment title in there, the purpose of our paper is, and then, what the purpose is for the paper. And once you read the assignment, you'll know. Specific topic areas, subheadings that will be addressed include, as you go through the case study, those headings will be very apparent. And we'll actually take a look at that this evening too. Then roles and responsibilities, what each student, is going to do. So you want to put, student 1, your name, and then what you're going to do. Student 2, name, what you're going to do. The following are live meetings, times, and dates. So if you plan on getting together, once or twice a week, whatever that looks like, then, like you're going to get into a Zoom call together, put that down. Our synchronous live communication technology will be, Zoom or Google Meet or Teams or whatever that looks like. Just, just put that there. And then our asynchronous, not live communication technology will be, text, email, Instagram, chat, whatever y'all, decide on, just put that there. And it could be a couple of them, Our data sharing tool will be, if you put it, say, if you use Lockbox, or if you use, Dropbox, or Google Google data. I forget what is it again? The where you can not Google Photos, but the Google Drive.
Google Drive.
Yeah. Or, Microsoft XYZ, whatever that is, just put that down there. Or it could just be, I created those, I think they're lock boxes in the class. You can just, you can use that as well. And then just put your link here, and then confirm that all team members have access. Obviously you're going to do that, but yes. And then our internal deadlines, you want to put down here. So, you want to read the case study by X date, you want to draft an outline by X date, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, with what you put in here, maybe once the outline is drafted, and that's also where, using the level 1 headers, come into play, where you can use that and, create your outline. So, with the roles and responsibilities, one student maybe does the intro, maybe outline, you guys figure that all out. And then your deadlines as you lead up to, the final submittal. Also, if there's any conflict, we plan to handle it by. And what you don't want to put is we plan on handling it by emailing the professor. That's something, if you do, I do get emails from time to time saying, well, so-and-so is not responsive, or so-and-so is not holding up their end of the bargain. I guarantee you, with one of the groups, that's going to happen. And, part of working in a team is, figuring that out. What, you have to pick up the slack, and maybe somebody will have to do a little bit more than another person. I'm sure, I presume y'all have been in and around situations like that. So, y'all have to put that here and, and then, work it out. So, any questions about this? I think it's pretty straightforward, but any questions?
No questions from my end, but I do suggest that whoever hasn't met with their groups get on it, because we met yesterday and it took us a pretty good hour to sit there and draw up our responsibilities where we kind of like wanted to do a part. So it's a pretty big project, but when you break it apart on, 4 or 5 people, it's not as big of a deal. But as we started diving into the actual assignment and seeing what is required, we realized there's way more to it than what it looks like on that piece of paper right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. Thank you for that input. All right. So, like I said, you complete that as a team, but submit that individually, and that's due by Sunday. All right. I do want to take a minute and look at the week 3 assignment. And that is assignment number 2, operate a team no, sorry about that. Just did that one. Assignment 3, create the supply chain team dashboard. And notes here somewhere. There we go. There we go. So they changed this assignment a couple classes ago, and I like that they did, because the final project, like I said, it is quite a bit. With this team supply chain dashboard, this assignment, and I actually added this here, is you're actually doing the first 4 tabs for this assignment that you're going to need to do in your final assignment for this last assignment here for the written report and presentation. So it's the same Excel book, and it's the same project information here in this assignment that you're going to use for your assignment 4 and 5. And that was creating some confusion, and understandably so, because it's the same Excel book and same instructions. And so I wanted to get ahead of that. So when, you do look at it, you go, oh yeah, it's the same one. So, I have that. Here we go. So when you open this final project information for the assignment 3, it's the same one you're going to see for 4 and 5. And this is your final project assignment instructions. You'll also use this for for the assignment 3, and then the PowerPoint instructions are down here below. So ultimately, this is a case study, and you're looking. This is a real good supply chain case study to work on and get to look at variables such as, location and transportation, and do data work on, products sold, things of that nature. All right. So for the assignment 3, what you're going to do is go through. Let me read it here. Here's an overview of your group project. There are 4 parts, XYZ instructions. For this part of the assignment, you and your group will be creating a dashboard using the Excel data from final project information right here, which is ultimately this Excel book. Project information and your final project information's here. That's this one, and then the Excel, which is the other one. Okay. You and your group will submit 2 items. So that's important, right? You're not just submitting the Excel book. Submit 2 items for this team report. Upload your written report, a Word document or PDF, preferably Word document. And it's going to be, so this is similar to the assignment you just completed, okay, for week 1. Descriptive paragraph explaining each dashboard element, 1 paragraph per table element. Complete the yellow section on the first 4 tabs. Okay. So let's look at there we go. So tab 1, SKU list. This is the yellow section. You're going to complete this here. That's going to give you the data that you can create your table, or not table because it's in a table. You can create your graph, and then you're going to write a paragraph about, what that looks like, right? For example, average sales units per day. So when you complete this calculation, it's going to tell you what is the biggest mover, or, what sells the most units per day, that kind of thing. And then ultimately, once you complete that, you write a paragraph about it, and you're going to do a graph because it's already in a chart, right? Order history, that is basically the same thing, lead times per day. You will complete the calculation and then do a graph. And then what you're going to want is your graph to be, you'd plot it out here in the same tab, and then copy that and, paste it into your Word document like you did for this last week's assignment. So do the calculations, do your graph, and then copy that graph and then your descriptive paragraph in Word. And you'll do the same thing for each of these first 4 tabs for the yellow sections. Any questions just about that? What the order of operation is there? Okay. And that's why, that first assignment, that gives you that kind of that exercise in doing an analysis, do a graph. Well, that was a chart. Do a paragraph. Do the calculations. Do a graph. do your descriptive paragraph. Okay. Boom. Yeah, so that's it on that. So here's the grading criteria here. And then let's there is additional resources, which is, LinkedIn Learning Excel for beginners, business case study, and of course the APA formatting video that I created because it says complete APA formatting required. All right, let's take a look at the actual case study. Okay. Let's see here. So interpreting and employing data to build a case study. You and your company, you are the new supply chain analyst with the Acme Corporation. We design specialty elements that are components in larger finished products such as major appliances, automobiles, and industrial equipment. So they make a thing that goes in these other things. Manufacturing is outsourced to low-cost suppliers due to the significant labor contribution and closeness to electronic component supplier. So that's what the company does. And then ultimately, when you read through this, it will. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the detail of reading through this because it's due again, week 3 and then week 4. Wanted to show you what that looks like, to make sure you read through it and in detail. We'll go through it once again next week. And then ultimately, you see this is it does walk you right through very specifically what's to be done with an introduction, that management information system support, logistics, and on down. And then ultimately, it would mirror that for your PowerPoint. We're going to go through that in a lot of detail next week as it sets you up for week 4. So when you come back to week 3, descriptive paragraph explaining each dashboard element. So when you take a look at the SKU list, you can get more insights into that list by reading through here and get an understanding of what these items are and like the location, history, things like that. Most of your time is going to be just right here in these first few tabs, doing the calculations, doing your graph, and then and really for the most part, you're not going to need too much, from here, but do read through it because that's going to give you the basis of what's going on. And it will help because you're just writing a paragraph after you calculate this. You're going to do extensive writing for your final project. You will use this information that you calculate in these first 4 tabs for next week's assignment, which is exciting. And then you're going to continue to use that as you move into your final project and then finish calculating the rest of the information and all the other requirements. Well, that's what I wanted to cover this evening, to go through. We'll first answer any questions and go through anything you had questions about. Take a look at what, the assignment is due for this Sunday, and then take a look at week 3 to get you going on that, because that's really where you start. Week 3 and week 4 is where you're going to do heavy team. You'll be working heavily with each other in your teams. This week you'll be ramping up to get ready for that. Any questions or anything else that you'd like to see that I didn't cover this evening? All right. Well, if you sent me an email, because I know some of you text me over the weekend, which is totally cool since I don't check me emails over the weekend. So if you did email me over the weekend or today, I will check those soon. I didn't have an opportunity I was slammed at work today, so I didn't have an opportunity to check emails, but I will look at those and respond promptly. And I guess if there's nothing else that you'd like to discuss this evening, we can go ahead and wrap it up and wish you all a wonderful, safe evening and a great week.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Bye.